I'm not impatient. What the fuck is? Hey, Brian.
Ryan,
Cool.
Ryan, you need to just. This is a song you should listen to. Listen to this song.
It sounds more exciting than what it is.
Let's see how we can lose our next 3 listeners.
Can I tell my goddamn story?
Great. Starting to record. Boom. Welcome, Jason. In the meantime, thanks for taking time out of your afternoon to
no problem
to chat. You know, you've been a long-time viewer, friend, and all that. And yes, thanks to the shelter in place, old friends such as us have grown in more contact recently, and it's been really cool. So I guess I'll mention one of the reasons we're doing this this specific one, because you'll be seen in the we're checking in here with Jason, but we're doing another mega checking in within the mega checking in with your parents, which
Yes.
is the chalk center in the middle of their frame, sitting with their dog, quietly judging all of us the entire time, which was beautiful.
Now we're cooking with Juiceline.
Juicy Lane, I like it. How the hell are you two? Oh my goodness.
Good. It's good to see you.
It was well. It was just like I said, we were doing our show yesterday, and Jason's been. I mean, Jason and I have probably had more contact in the last I don't know, since March than we probably have in the last 10 to 15 years or so.
Yeah.
Isn't technology wonderful?
It can be. It definitely can be. So, but yeah, and then he said he was going to visit you guys, and I was like, well, you know, nice seeing hi. But when I saw you yesterday, and I was like, oh, we gotta talk. It'll be fun to talk.
Well, I was surprised he even recognized me, because when you used to know me, I didn't have boobs. Now I do.
You know what? My memories aren't that clear. Maybe you know.
It's the tits when you get old. You know that old saying about useless as tits on the boar hog. You never apply until you get old, and all of a sudden your body just sags out. You grow tits. What the? Hey, it's so bad that I thought I was going to have surgery on my tits.
Breast reduction surgery there.
Yeah, they told me, oh, it's not benign. No, it is benign. It's not bad. I thought, what in the hell? I'm a man. What am I doing with tit cancer now?
You know, we always we spend our life chasing them, and then we inherit them. That's, you know.
Life goes on.
But yeah. So I guess if anybody's been watching the show, they probably have, like, especially since the coronavirus, they've probably seen you doing the check-ins, and
Yes.
We did some mentioning of your birdspanker noise group project, whatever. I don't know what do you like to call that?
I don't know. It hasn't really come up. I haven't had to call it anything.
No.
I just say I do noise, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, there's a great documentary. I don't know if you've seen it. It's available on YouTube, called People Who Do Noise. I highly recommend it.
Gonna look it up.
It's about the little tiny noise scene, like countrywide. I think it mostly takes place up in Washington, but it's people who do noise. So I consider myself a person who does noise.
Person who does noise. Noisicians. I used to call them noisicians. That never really took, but I mean, I still refer to it kind of like that. So I guess for anybody who doesn't know, who's just walked in off the street and got on YouTube and was like, oh, I wonder what this In the Meantime with MeanDave's all about, this episode 33 that we're doing. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm an old friend of MeanDave's from back in the day. Grew up in Newark with him in a large part. And moved to San Francisco many, many years ago, and don't know why I'm still here, but I'm still here. And for 15 years, I edited porn for a living, hardcore gay porn, and lost my job last year, so I took a year off, which has helped remarkably because I had health problems. But those health problems are largely gone now after having taken a year off, so I'm happy about that. I had congestive heart failure. My heart is now in recovery, finally. It's healing
Awesome.
And all it was not having a job to go to every day.
Mm.
I've also got other issues, but they're kind of more, they have less of an impact on my daily life. But yeah, so I don't know what else there is to say.
Life goes on. Hey, before you start asking me questions, I wanted to ask you one.
Yes.
This has been preying on my mind for years. How much money have you been able to get out of him just so he'll be a friend? You let him be your friend.
Who, Jason?
Yeah.
How much money do I get out of him?
about?
Jason, I don't know if I'm pretty sure you're aware of your son's finances. He don't have the money.
Well, I thought maybe that's why he was so broke. He was supporting you.
Not at all. No, he's supporting, and just, you know, we've been chatting a lot in the middle of the night. I was having a lot of trouble sleeping. I think he was, you know, we've just sort of reconnected through music, and he showed up out of nowhere in 2012 at a show that I was doing in San Francisco, and it was a very it was not a well publicized show. It was in this hole in the wall warehouse where these bands were jamming, and they decided to throw a comedy show. It was not very well promoted at all, and he showed up, and I didn't even recognize him. And he was,
take a look at him. Who did he remind you of?
He looked less like, you know, we there's a musician we're both a fan of, Joe Preston, and he looks very much resembles him now. But the beard was shorter, and but there was something familiar about him, because when he came in, I think you were with your boyfriend at the time, right, Jason? Yeah. And he came in, and they were sitting together in the middle, but there was a small but, you know, full crowd there, and so I was performing, and then I asked him a question about something, and he responded, and then he said, "Dave, it's me, Jason." And I just went into shock. I'm like, "Holy shit, that is you!" And then I proceeded to tell people stories of just some of our youth and stuff, but it was a trip. And then ever since then, he's either surprised me at a show that like I had no idea that anybody knew about it or whatever. He would show up to a show. One time, actually, I felt so bad. There was one show that got canceled at the last minute, and I knew it was going to be a shit show anyway. And then I barely checked Twitter, and then I checked Twitter, and it was some Twitter messages from him like, "Dave, I'm here at this venue, and apparently the show's not happening." So I always have to let him know, like, "Hey, let me know when you're going." So he has my number now. So
Dave, I hate to break it to you, but I think my son's been stalking you.
No, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. He's told me that as much. So
I actually did. I was totally cyber stalking you.
Yeah. No,
cyber stalking. Oh my God, that's even worse.
But no, I've gone down. Believe me, I've looked up people and tried to find them too. He's very elusive as well. I mean, he's only on Twitter, you know. So he knows his ways around. And I'm pretty easy to find if you have a Facebook page, primarily. So I'm always on there causing stuff.
I'm a big fan of Skinny Puppy. I love Skinny Puppy. Skinny Puppy's the best band in the world.
I've seen it. He is a big fan of Skinny Puppy. I know this for a fact. Because that's the thing. We came across paths. We've been chatting up during the shelter in place. We've been sort of like kind of stumbling upon old memories that, like, you know, some I remember you forgot, some you remember I forgot, and I forgot completely I remember the bus ride. I do remember the bus ride, but it just, and I do remember it. It was just not one of those, I'm like, oh, that's right kind of moments, because we were both in late seventh grade, because we met late seventh grade, because in seventh grade I was mostly hanging out with skaters, with Chris Norberg, Matt Walden.
Matt Walden.
We can never track down. I've looked for him. I can't find that motherfucker.
That guy was cool. I had a lot of fun with that guy.
He was all right. He was kind of an asshole, but he was still a good friend at times, because they would always be picking. They were always playing games. They were like bitches. I swear to God, they were very much like little girls, and I acted like one too. And but they were always like talking shit about each other to me, and then trashing me to each other. And they were him and Chris Norberg were awful. Tony Roderick was the guy I knew longer. I knew all of them at the same time, but I knew Tony. I was closer with Tony Roderick in elementary school. But I actually reconnected with him. He lives in San Francisco. And,
cool.
and he popped into like a couple shows out of nowhere. I think I did a share on our show and tell show about an AA chip that he gave me on my year. And that's a trip to like see, because him I knew less. I knew you. I feel like I've known you and our group of friends. I've known you guys and knew you guys more through the junior high to teenage years. And then Tony, I lost touch with after 7th grade, really. I would see him around, but he'd moved. And then he stayed in touch with a few people, but I wasn't one of them. And then I saw him at like a party here and there later, but would rarely come into contact. And then he was the one who tracked me down. So it was that was pretty cool. But we met on late in 7th grade. We were in one of those programs that I'm sure has long been since eroded from our education system, where they handpicked certain students based on whatever bullshit that I have no idea about. And we got to leave a class to go watch some weird science shit. Like it would seem to be science-based. And that particular day we went to music school. We went on a bus. And we were going, because I hadn't been to music school. That was your elementary school. I went to Kennedy. I went to the rich kids school, even though we weren't in the rich kids area, because my mom knew which elementary school was better, because they were the first to have computers. So she got us. She figured out, let us be at a babysitter, an awful babysitter, to go there, and because of that, then we got to go to school to Kennedy. And then we just kept going since, because we were within that whatever fucking thing. Because we were supposed to go to music. And then, but we were on the bus, and I was getting into thrash metal, and you were already into, thrash metal and whatever other, because you were into a lot of different music that I was unaware of at the time. And you had who had the Exodus tape?
I did.
You did. That's okay. So you had
you were sitting behind me.
Yeah.
And I just heard this voice behind me saying, "Oh, you like Exodus?" And I turned around.
Wow. I can't believe that.
Because I had just gotten the tape, so I was just like, I just had it with me, even though I couldn't listen to it or anything. I just had it with me so I could fondle it and like stare at it.
Yeah. That's when those things were more precious, it wasn't in the age of online music where everything's just so cheap. And when you got a cassette, it was a $10 cassette usually. So it was wow, and it was new and it was special and all of that shit. So that actual cassette looked cool because it was I don't know, the colors of it was, because I remember green and red.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, and then after all that, I hope I'm not interrupting your story. But I would like to point out that after that, the first time I went to your house after we'd met that day, you had this Quiet Riot mask that you'd made in Cub Scouts. And then I had the epiphany that we had met before, because I was in Cub Scouts for like 2 days.
Oh, that's
I was in orientation and then one Cub Scout activity. And that activity took place at your house where we all made masks. And I thought,
I do not remember that.
Guy,
yeah.
Because you were making a fucking Quiet Riot mask. And I wish that I had the idea to make a Quiet Riot mask. And I was like, oh my God, that guy's so cool.
We probably met in 2nd grade and don't remember it. Yeah, that's, wow. I'm glad you remembered that, because I remember clearly making a Quiet Riot mask. I remember because it was 2nd grade I got that cassette. It's so funny about Quiet Riot. I didn't care so much about the music as much as the imagery, because that image of that face mask was so nightmarish, and yet for a kid, especially, like when that music was like, because that music basically was like the beginning of, even though that was glam rock really, but it was breaking into mainstream music, and it had a heaviness to it. And I'm little, 7 years old, and I just remember seeing the video, and I thought the video looked really like, I didn't think I was into scary stuff or anything like that, but something about that mask appealed to me, and I liked it better than Michael Jackson's Thriller. All right. Like, that was scary too, but there was something about that imagery that I really dug. And And so, yeah, that, I wanted, as a kid, you're just like, yeah, I'll make the Quiet Riot mask. That'll be cool. Whatever the fuck. I don't know. It's so
And
fun. Huh?
It was
Cool. I'm glad
Fucking
somebody
cool.
thought so, because nobody else did in second grade when school at Kennedy. Maybe I should have gone to music. I would have had a better childhood.
Yeah, you would have been Bill sooner.
Always on their cars and stuff. How have you two been?
Oh.
Really good. Busy.
Yeah.
Well, we retired.
Yeah.
So now we pay to work instead of working for pay.
Yeah, that's what happens.
We're
Don't let 'em lie to
volunteers.
you. All your life you think, okay, I'm going to get retired. I no more taxes. No bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Whole face lie. They're still sucking blood out of me. They just going to suck blood out of me until I'm dead. That's all there is to it.
Oh, man.
Personally, I feel fulfilled. I've
Broke, but fulfilled.
yeah, we're broke. But the deal is this: it's kind of funny when you guys were young. I didn't feel patriotic or anything like that. I didn't catch my bug that I had when I was really young. So, but I got it back. And up here in Oregon, it's not like California in this respect. The area where we live, when you're in a parade, they all stand up and clap for you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Down in California, they throw rocks and stuff at you.
How about that? I mean,
Wait a minute.
Depends on where.
I was there. I was there in 1972. You weren't.
Oh, you're talking about back then.
Yeah.
That I heard about.
They
I thought you were talking
absolutely
about now.
hated us. I came out of my experience there when I first went in, feeling really happy and proud of myself. When I got out of there, I was just totally ashamed that what the hell was I thinking, type of thought. But I got that back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad.
I
feel reinvigorated. So we have a job. I have a job. I take care of those veterans
nice.
that were never as fortunate as me. That's my job, to help them have a better life.
That's awesome.
There's a ton of them out there. Now, that's the serious side of where I am.
Is that what the VFW is? That's what the...
Yeah, Veterans of Foreign Wars.
Nice.
I say it stands for vacuum for wallet, because that's all they ever do is suck money out of you.
Well, look at that. See? Well,
So that's who we are.
I mean, Jason and I grew up in the age of where that was where I think a lot of the guilt from how people treated Vietnam vets when they were doing the Iraq, during the first Iraq war and
That's
whatnot.
what changed everything.
That's what made me proud of who I was. Yeah.
They really, but Jason and I grew up during the era where the support the troops mantra really came into play. And I think a lot of that was from people's bad reactions to Vietnam. Yeah, we connected over the Exodus cassette, and then from there they were kind of off to the races. Because at that time, it's so strange because our group of friends banded together. We banded together because of music primarily at that time, and then because my whole paradigm of friends shifted in 8th grade. From 7th to 8th grade, I stopped hanging out with those skater guys because Chris Norberg was smoking, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to be getting in trouble for smoking if I'm not smoking. I thought smoking was stupid in 7th grade. I'm like, wait till you're an adult to kill yourself. Why do that? We're 12 and 13. Let's not pretend to be adults. And so I started hanging out. I remember we were hanging out. Mike Sills came into the fold. You were friends, you knew Mike Sills better than me because you went to the same elementary school. But I had a class with him in 7th grade and would see him wearing his older brother Jerry's shirts. And so naturally we thought they were his, but they were really his older brothers. And he would try to crack wise, being the cool, sarcastic kid with one-liners. And so I was like, oh, he's cool. Let's, try to be friends with him. And Daryl Feldman was in that class too. And I got to know Daryl throughout 7th grade. Didn't think I liked him because he was one of those dudes that just, abrasive personality, but he, God damn it. And the same thing happened with him. We both made each other laugh. That was the main thing. We couldn't stand each other, but every now and then I would say something that would make him laugh and he would say something that would make me laugh. And that primarily, I think, was when we got to 8th grade I think what really bonded the group that came together in 8th grade more was humor.
Yeah, well, that everybody hated us. So
I don't think everybody so much hated us. We didn't like other people either. I mean, it wasn't.
Well,
it's not like we. I mean, nobody's knocking on our door to hang out with us, but there was really like a land of the misfit toys aspect to us. You know, because like we didn't even hang out with the metalhead people. Like that was what I found was because we weren't stoners at the time. I mean, everybody called you a stoner if you wore a metal T-shirt or something.
right.
But you know, metal, whatever the fucking genres and that was the other thing too. It was the age of where like not everything was a fucking genre, but personalities were genres, if anything.
Yeah.
You know, they had all the archetypes of school and all that shit. And but I just always remembered that for all of the neurosis of all that time, what kind of dictated who I liked being around was really the people who made me laugh and were into stuff that made me laugh. And which is strange, being that it took me this long to figure out be in comedy because I had no desire to be in comedy.
Right.
Still don't to some extent.
Yeah. Well, we've lived. I always look at this as I've lived a fantastic life.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, I don't know if you guys. I can remember the row. What was that called? Row something, where they made equal rights for kids to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
So, Roe versus Wade.
Brown versus Wade.
Roe versus Wade is
abortion.
Well, same thing. I think I was aborted once, but anyhow, we came from that where kids weren't so free. Not that they are today anyway, but
A lot better.
it's a lot better. But we went from that to burning cities and watching TV where people were just trying to get some rights and people hating them just because they weren't white. You know, so we made some tremendous changes in our lives, and it's funny how people are so afraid today that our country's gone. You know, I say it often, we're headed to civil war, but I don't really want to believe that.
Mm.
What happens is we've been changing all along.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
Hey, I'm going to tell you what, when you get to be an old fart like me,
Mm-hmm.
You're going to say, God, what happened to my country? It's not the same damn country. What happened to us?
I'm going to be too busy playing with my tits. I'm sorry, John. I'm not going to be worried about that.
You're going to wake up someday and figure it out. But anyhow, that's a serious side. I just love it. I love it all. And I still have a good sense of humor. I try to.
I noticed.
She tries to beat it out of me.
Yeah. No.
I knew years ago he was hopeless.
But so yeah, I guess what memories do you have of all that time? Because it's funny, we don't really talk too much about it. You know,
I do remember getting rocks thrown at me a lot. I remember doing everything I could to be as unusual as possible because I wanted people to hate me, because I had so much disdain for them that I wanted people to dislike me.
Mm-hmm.
I remember spray painting my shoes and people freaking out about that. I remember having a T-shirt that said "Welcome Death."
I remember the Welcome Death shirt. I do.
I thought it would be really super clever. I remember wearing a Faith No More shirt and getting like a lot of people commenting on that shit. I just remember everybody being really dumb and just really hating junior high a lot.
It was so strange because I have more fond memories of high school and didn't even realize that I did. Like, it's not like high school was so great, but when I look back on it, I'm like, it wasn't that bad. But what was bad was 7th through 9th grade. That was 7th through 9th grade was downright. You could erase those memories from, or not memories, but like those years were like. But the odd thing was there were the good memories I do have during those times were very good, probably because they had to be earned. And just because I don't wish any of the shit that happened during those, because that's the weird thing. People that bullied or tried to bully, I should say, because I never really felt outright bullied, because I would usually eventually stand up to somebody. I just didn't want to. I was just like, it was all such a hassle. But when it came to like, when I just remember everybody that tried to fuck with me in junior high, in high school, would usually try to either be cool to me at a party. Like I would run into them and they would act like none of that ever happened. Yeah. And I'm like, there was one kid I remember, I didn't even know him. His name was Kevin Risch. He was a year younger than me. He hung out with other people that would always try to fuck with us. And he was always like trying to get at me. And I'm like, I'm not going to be bullied by a kid who's a year younger than me. It's just not going to happen. And he was relentless in trying. And I kind of saw through all that shit. And then a couple years later, we're at a party at Richie's house and he's there smoking bong loads with us and being really cool. And I'm like, oh, look at this cocksucker. You know, I don't fucking like him, but he was being nice and it was strange because I just remember a lot of that. And some people were trying to be fuckers in high school and it just didn't work because I always felt like there was I think by the time people got to high school, everybody kind of realized, yeah, everything sucks and we're all on drugs now. And oddly enough, there was something about it that every now and then somebody would try to fuck with you, but not really. The biggest thing I remember happening in high school was Wyatt taking my 2-liter and me pissing on his hat. That was about it, you know? So.
Which is a classic memory.
Not just me either. Like when you said it wasn't just me. It was Mike joined in. Nate got a little on there. Daryl might have. I know at least Mike and Nate definitely did because those are two dudes that did not care for him either. And I just said his hat's in the urinal. Go pee on it if you want. And I think somebody took it out, and Wyatt never knew that it was in. Like Wyatt knew it was in the bathroom and wet because that's where he got it from. But I don't know who tipped him off, but somehow he found it in the bathroom wet. So. Well,
I just remember. I remember that happening because I heard about it secondhand because I wasn't there for it. For some reason, I don't know how I wasn't involved in that. Yeah. But I just remember being really proud of you because I thought that was such a really good way to handle the situation, was to take his hat and piss on it.
Well, it was I was so lucky because, it's so funny. It was like, and it's so dumb. I had my whole identity built around, you helped contribute to this identity that I developed later of the Trouthead, fucking thing. You named it. You came up with it. And I just ran with it because it was something, again, yeah, and I think one of the things about, like, going even back to the Quiet Riot mask and then as growing up, I've even said this when I've been hanging out with people that were like, were you always such a nice person? I'm like, yeah, because my appearance really is more of a defense mechanism. A lot of my appearance and my attitude through my 20s and 30s was definitely more defensive, and it was done out of, just out of whatever, not liking to be vulnerable and all that other shit. And meanwhile, the entire time, everybody can see right through my bullshit half the time. But I did enjoy the imagery, like fear being a factor in, like, because I'm reading about serial killers. I didn't want to be I was like, well, maybe I'll be a serial killer if I ever have the will to be one. But if I don't, at least I can learn, what are these guys? They have the power of myth. The power of and in our school it was the power of rumor. There was the kid who killed the cat and the kid who fucking did all these fucking stupid things. And it's like, I don't want to kill a cat because my best friend's a cat at the time. But just all that kind of will to be weird type of shit. And consciously so, because movies are also kind of telling us that it's kind of cool. And it's like, well, it looks cool in the movies, but I don't know about, in real life.
Yeah, I definitely had a lot of being confrontational as a defense mechanism.
Quietly subversively, intelligently confrontational. It wasn't like going out and looking for a fight. It was more like, no, I'll have a shirt that might trigger some disturbed fucking bullshit in you, and it's just a t-shirt, and not even really understanding. I remember my favorite shirt was the Danzig one, the God Don't Like It t-shirt. Oh yeah, God Don't Like It on the back, and it's got the Danzig skull, and it's reaching into Jesus. I still have it. It's in Vic's storage that I'm never going to get into. And it's a great shirt because people see it and they automatically are just like, what the fuck is, I got less for the inverted cross Danzig shirt that I had than I did for that one. And but yeah, it was just one of those things that.
So, what's been going on with you? I heard you're still in contact with, is it Mike Seals, right?
Yeah, Mike? I know all of the the kids that came through your house pretty much still, or they find me if I don't want to stay in touch with them. But
like Jason.
no,
Yeah,
Jason was always one of the people where I'm happy to see. It's just I don't even remember exactly where we lost. I think when he moved to San Francisco, and then because I think certain friends, they parted ways under less amicable circumstances. I hung out with my band friends for a while, and we would always butt heads and go on timeouts for a long time and whatever. But no, Jason. When after 2012, we somewhat stayed in touch through. Primarily I knew Twitter. I knew the Ruben Jensen, his online alter ego. So, but we and then, I'm trying to remember. But like the other guys, so Mike Sills, I've seen. I would hang out a lot with Mike around in the 2000s. He's pretty much lived in Hayward for that entire time, and he owns a house with a buddy, and then so they've pretty much been happy there, and then well, he works for the phone company too, so oddly enough, all of my C and D grade. Like the guys that got C and D grades in high school, all of them are well-off, responsible adults with some with
and intelligent ones.
And Jason got good grades, I got good grades, and we fumble along. We figure out,
I don't think you're fumbling. I think you're doing well.
I feel like I am, but I think part of it was just feeling like the fumbling was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to go through my life and not know what the hell I'm going to do. Even when I'm doing it, so that's kind of how it goes. But Mike and Daryl. Daryl works for and he lives in Daly City. He has a family, wife and kid. You can believe that. He's got a little.
Huh?
Oh my goodness, a little.
I saw a picture of the boy. He looks just like him.
Looks exactly like him, and he's gonna kind of already sounds like him too. And
oh God, I'm gonna tell you, of all of Jason's buddies, friends through the years, Daryl was the one I wanted to kill. I just hated him.
Well, you're not the only.
I told Jason one time, do not bring him in the house. Do not bring him to my house.
We had the same rule.
I cannot stand this guy. And then all of a sudden, the epiphany occurred. He said, well, you do know, or something, he said, that his mom's Japanese and his dad is Jewish. And I said, oh my God, now I understand. Half of him wants to conquer the world, and the other half is apologizing for every damn thing that ever went wrong in the world. No wonder he doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
I mean, if that's, I wish it was that simple, but
well, I simplified the most.
Yeah, you did. He is a complex dude, but Daryl, our mutual friend Daryl, was more hell bent on really being more a mental. I think he was more mentally in that vein. Like, he was truly confrontational. He didn't even care about fucking with kids. He loved being confrontational with adults, and you shared that with him. I was more of a people pleaser to adults because I was like, keep adults off my back, and I can do whatever I want. But,
I don't know. I honestly, I regret. The only thing I really regret is that I was mean to a lot of people for no good reason.
I don't think you were that. I don't think you were that. I mean, you had a mean disposition, but nothing. I mean, I say that. I mean, that was part of the thing about. I think again, it boils to humor. I really do feel like there's times where, there's times where just being mean is. I mean, it's necessary, and it's. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't even say so much mean because it wasn't so much out of it. I think you and Daryl, you definitely had like a cruelty streak at times, but it wasn't like. But I want to say it was something that was more relatable because it wasn't. Maybe because it wasn't coming from somebody that like was. I know because you both were intelligent dudes that I knew, and it was. I always felt like even if there was no purpose, there was a feeling of purpose behind your cruelty, if there was any cruelty. So, like there's just something about that. I don't know. There's to me because I get I think a lot of what ended up steering into the stupid stage name that I got now was more again the fact that I grew up with people who had a will to be blunt both out of respect for one another, for being honest as much as we can. Even if that honesty wasn't like in each other's best interest, if we are just trying to hurt each other's feelings, at least we're hurting each other's feelings with honesty. But also a desire, like there was genuine humor there. Like, you know, there'd be times where just humor was really the factor, I think, that, and not like, oh, we're trying to be funny. Like, no, it was really just a bonded dark humor, like just of looking into the abyss of everything, you know?
Certainly.
That's what it seemed like. I mean, look at your beard, for fuck's sake.
This what sense makes.
It's a damn fine beard. I'm telling you, man, if you don't get confused for Joe Preston somewhere, you know, somebody's going to think the Thrones are in town. So,
Man, I wish they'd be in town. I'd love to see them.
Yeah, same here. But yeah, I stayed in touch with him. Ben Holt, you probably remember Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. Living in Alameda with his wife Elisa from the high school sweetheart days.
Yeah.
And then Nate Rodriguez, he lives in Newark, back at the house that he grew up in. Him and his wife. He was. I think he got married first. He got married once, and then they divorced, and then he got married again, and he was living in San Jose. And I visited him down there once, and then they ended up moving into his family's old house after his dad passed away, and his mom didn't have any use for the house, so they moved in there. And then. And I'm not sure if you remember if there's anybody else that you know of. I remember the last time I saw you, John. We were helping Jason move in San Francisco at the last minute. Like it was. I remember Jason. He goes, Dave, what are you up to? You got a truck, right? and I was like, I should have said no. But, I said, yeah, I got a truck. He goes, well, I'm looking for help. I need help moving. And I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? And then and I remember we got to talking, and you were working with our old bully, Levon Creech, at the time. Do you remember that at all?
Levon Creech?
I don't remember that.
You were working with a guy. His name's Willis. His name's Willis, but we knew him as Levon. And you were working with them. I guess you worked at the city, right?
No, I worked there until I almost died. Yeah,
that's right. So you were working at the city, and
I don't remember that name though, but that's okay.
And no, but you didn't know him very well. You just happened to be working a job with him, and somehow it came about that you found out he went to school with us. And he knew us. You asked me and Jason. You were like, "Hey, did you know a guy named Willis Creech, or you might have even knew him by Levon?" And we both just were like, "Oh, him!" Like we are not friends with him at all. He is not our friend at all. He's just your classic. Like if you ever watched Different Strokes, there was the Gooch who you never saw. He was the bully, and the Gooch you only heard about him, but you never saw him. Levon was our Gooch, and
oh my God,
yeah, he was same here. But you mentioned also like you and our friend Mike. Mike's been mentioned on the In the Meantime before. I'll show his picture here when he's shooter Mike Silva. I always love showing the wrestling picture. But you mentioned that your parents, who we're about to cut to here shortly, your parents, well, tell some of the Newark history you were telling me about earlier.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I come from a long line of Newark people. My father has been or lived in Newark for years and years and years, as well as my mother. My mother grew up in Newark as well. But my father, when he was in high school, he was one of the kind of the what was the word I used? I don't remember the word I use now. He was just like one of the thug kind of guys. He was a rabble rouser.
But
he was a rabble rouser back in the day.
Rabble rouser, gotcha.
And he used to be friends with the Allen family, which was Mike's mother's maiden name. Mm-hmm. Was Allen. I think that's pretty.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
His cousin was Chad Allen, but anyhow,
Allen, yeah.
His best friend was Mike's uncle,
mm-hmm.
and he dated Mike's mom back in the 60s, mm-hmm. Which I thought was kind of astonishing. And he used to tell me stories about growing up in Newark and hanging out with his crew, including the Allens, the mm-hmm. Allen family, and like one time they were apparently driving down the street. I think it was Maui. They're driving down Maui Avenue, and one of the guys in my friend's crew, my dad's crew, was they saw some guy like riding a bike down the street, and they said, "Hey, I dare you to get out and kick his ass." And so they stopped the car. My dad jumped out and knocked the guy off his bike and shit like that. But
it's Newark right there. I feel like Newark hasn't changed.
So it runs in the family. It's but not that I was ever physically violent.
No.
But stories he told me about Mike's mom, and I don't know if it's true or not, but he tells me it's true. He said they were at the high school, which was the junior high at the time, because the high school got built later on.
Yeah.
But at the high school, they were out smoking by the bleachers by the football field and the track.
Bad kids.
And and Mike's mom was walking out, and everybody was staring at her because she was like apparently super hot, wearing like a short skirt. She had a big beehive, big beehive hairdo.
Hey, Sherry.
And she was walking out to come smoke cigarettes with the crowd, and then a seagull just took a big dump right in the middle of her beehive. And all he said was, "Let me just tell you, it ruined her day."
No shit. Probably lowered her stock too in high school. I mean, you don't understand the beehive got shit on.
But the thing that just astonishes me is that I met Mike Sills in 4th grade, and we became really close friends at that time. He was like my best friend in junior high, and I mean not in junior high. Well, he was junior high, yeah, but in elementary school, he was one of my best friends, and we got together having no idea that my father and his mother had ever had any kind of history until I told my dad, my friend Mike Sills. He's like, "Oh, Sills, I know the Sills family." Oh, and then the whole thing came out. It was just absolutely bonkers. It's amazing. It's a small town.
You and Mike could have been one person at one point. could have been Jason Mike at one point, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, fortunate my parents got together in Pleasanton, so anybody and
no inbreeding.
Not that I'm aware. I mean, if I'd have to move to Livermore for any of that shit to go down, that's where like the Garcia part of my family lived at one point. A lot of them have all moved. We got Mexicans in my family. We got the Mexican Trump supporters in on that part of the family. It's really interesting. I say interesting, it's not. That's what I mean. So, but yeah.
So I have to say, if you expect me to remember anything in the past, I don't even remember who I am now. I did that. Well, I can't sleep at night now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to wake up the next day. I just worry,
You look healthy as hell. What are you talking about, man? Both of you do. You look great. So when did you move?
I ask, when you're recording this, is there a way to like take 20 years off of us?
Could you knock some of my tits out? That's really embarrassing.
That's gonna be the selling point, John. I'm sorry, I can't mess with the money there. But no, so you guys moved to Redmond. When did you move to Redmond?
Oh,
2008.
Yeah.
2008. Wow. So okay, nice.
Well, that's why I retired about a year before that or two.
No, he retired in 2005.
Yeah, I did.
And I retired actually, we bought the house in 2007. I retired in 2008, and that's when I moved up here.
Yeah.
I was already here for 6 months.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah. And I was just driving around and thinking, well, how do you meet people?
Mm-hmm.
So have you ever just thought about you get into an area, how do you meet people?
They ask me for directions. That's what everybody asks.
You're the guy that didn't run into you.
Don't know why. Yeah.
So I figured something out logical. The logical thing is if you want to meet people, you can join churches, you join service organizations, things like that, or find a job. At that point, I didn't want a job, so I was totally happy. So I was just driving by the Veterans of Foreign Wars post they have over here in Redmond, and I said, well, damn, I can be a member of this. I went in there, sure enough. I said, all I want to do is, maybe wash dishes. I'm the best damn dishwasher they ever had in there. And it's gone from there. So that's what happened to me.
Nice.
We just wanted to get away.
Mm-hmm.
And he signed me up for the auxiliary, and that's what happened to me.
My goal
12
is
years
to,
of working for
yeah,
that.
my goal was to escape California.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get out of there because the traffic, I don't know what's the matter with me, but I just can't handle being in like that. I just can't handle it. It just eats me up.
Yeah. No, it's gotten, yeah.
I
It
have
has
a little more peace, although it's getting worse here now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people are finding us.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they're trying to, yeah, everybody wants to escape to the woods. So,
Yeah.
Well, I know where we live, we have 5 lakes.
mm-hmm.
We have a mountain that's fairly famous for skiing, so we have that within an hour or so. And of course, if you like to hunt, which I always wanted to hunt and fish, I thought that's all I was ever going to end up doing. I no longer have time to hunt or fish. So.
Nice.
And Jason just took a picture of my gun safe.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and he just laughs at me. I have all these guns in there and stuff, and I do. I have, and I just bought another one. I don't have enough.
What's the point of going to Oregon if you don't have a gun safe with guns in it? You
And
know?
have it full, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's full, all right.
I mean, we got records. You got guns. Yeah.
Well, that's his cash.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to come up when we go. This is Journey's End. So when we go, Jason gets to burn the place down, sell it, have a big giant garage sale. There'll be a ton of people coming out there when you pull out guns. Oh, they'll be there like ducks on a June bug. I'll be after you. No, I love it. It's God's country.
Nice. But yeah, it's a strange little hype because we were Mexican and Guatemalan on that side. That was my dad's side, and then my mom was I believe Mexican, maybe some Native American that we don't even know about, and British. That was the other shit. So that was all that fucking hybrid bullshit. But yeah, it was funny. I was even actually talking last night on a show about the show I did after the show and tell. I was bringing up the point when I was in junior high. I got told I wasn't real Mexican because I listened to heavy metal and I rode a skateboard. Ophelia Diaz, I remember who it is. I actually, she gets suggested to me on Facebook too. And the last time I ever saw her, she was checking out our groceries at a fucking Safeway. I think she's one of those lifelong employees of Safeway, and more power to her. She's got a family and all that shit. And she looks more like a Karen than I've ever seen. So, you know, you want to talk about a real Mexican and all that shit. But it cracked me up because then years, you know, going to being in the band Funeral Shock for the 7 years I was in 2004 when we went on a tour, our last stop was at a party in East Los Angeles. And it was this huge party, nothing but Mexican or Latino or whatever, fucking Hispanic kids. All of them, like I was hearing Spanish everywhere. Like I was hearing more Spanish than English, I want to say. All of them there to see punk rock, heavy metal, all that shit. All of them skating. There was a half pipe there, and I was telling my friend who I was there. I was like, dude, I was told when I was a kid that I wasn't real Mexican, you know, by this one bitch. That if I wanted to be Mexican, I had to listen. I had to wear LA Raiders gear, and I had to listen to NWA, which made no fucking sense at the time, you know. And here I'm looking at all these you know, Mexican kids that were all and whatever, you know, not just Mexican, but like, you know, it's all Central American, South American, whatever the fuck. But just all of this culture was inherently both, you know, brown, Spanish speaking, and into heavy music and skateboarding and rap too, no doubt, because they're all in the music. Everybody likes rap at some point. It was just and like you said, it was really dumb. It was so incredibly dumb. It's really strange because the climate of America today reminds me of junior high completely.
Oh yeah.
It's really the black and white stupidity of it all. And the thing that reminds me most of it, I remember when, because also junior high, like I told your dad in this upcoming thing, that was where we started hearing the mantra of support the troops for the first time, because the Iraq War broke out, and then you started to see this horse shit of the support the troops stuff. What it's like, this is America. We know the troops are fucking doing stuff where they're supposed to be. It's like this. We started to see this conscious mentality of just slogans of shallow sentimentality to this illusion of gratitude, when it's like, oh, so don't think. Yeah, suppress your ability to like see things for what they are, and just be grateful for as if these guys were there. They are there for America, but they're as far as me. Like there's a lot of reason why people go into the military. It's because they hate people like me. It's like they're not looking to embrace differences and all that kind of shit. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the thing that kills me about that is just the assumption that America is righteous and good, and that's what we're. And that's what the movies teach us, man. There's good, there's right, and there's wrong, and then there's this. There's right's right and wrong and whatever. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some old Western saying, but yeah, that's true. That's very much the narrative that we're sold on, and God forbid if you question that. Jason, do you ever shoot the guns with your dad?
I have shot the guns, yes.
And is it
guns?
fun?
I have no attraction to guns whatsoever.
No.
I made him take a gun safety course, and a hunter safety course.
Yeah.
I was ruthless, Dave. I be honest with you, I was a terrible father. I admit how bad I was. I forced him because I loved to duck hunt. I would rather duck hunt than anything in the world. You can ask Val about this.
Yeah.
I would duck hunt in a flat second if they would have let me 24/7, 7 days a week, but I couldn't. So I could hardly wait till Jason gets to be, he's going to be a duck hunter. Oh, he's going to be just like his dad.
I remember. I have memories of this. I have memories of you getting up early when I stayed over at Jason's. You would go hunting, correct?
Yeah.
I do remember this. Yeah, because you had the dogs for that.
I don't know. I'm just an animal.
He's turned into a softie, though. Now we have quail and duck and deer coming in the backyard, and they're safe. We feed
yeah.
No. I'm getting more hungry for venison every day.
It's the venison.
All I got to do is slide the little door open, and about 30 feet away, just drop them right there. I could never figure out why I drive 3 to 4 hours when all I had to do was just look out my window and shoot them right out of the window. So I'm starting to get smarter in my thinking here. But anyway, I don't get to hunt like I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Rarely do we go fishing, but when we do, it's just a joy.
Mm-hmm.
You enjoy it more than when you used to do it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to do it. No, I love it here.
Is it okay to use the pictures that you tweeted of the guns while he's talking about them? I will do. Because no, I loved hearing. I love your parents, and it was really cool talking to them because I hadn't seen them in well over. I haven't seen your dad in maybe about 20 years, and your mom even longer. I probably saw your mom maybe around high school. When we were still hanging out then. But
I'm kind of annoyed because, my dad talks.
I love it.
My mom was annoyed because she felt like, and I told her, I was like, don't expect to get a word in edgewise.
Yes, she did though. I wanted to make sure what I was grateful for was your dad saying her name, because I almost forgot her name was Valerie. I was sitting there, I'm like, do I call her Mrs. Wrinkle? Like, we'll play it by ear and see what goes on, see what happens. And then he calls her Val. I'm like, Valerie, that's right. I was like, so I had to play it cool. But
how do I get your invites without having to pull the teeth out? I might even watch you on your shows.
Oh, normally it's pretty easy. I think this was just because I'm using my Zoom account, and I don't. They update it all the time. So I think when they do this, like my thing somehow has passwords enabled and all that shit. And but the shows that I do, I just share a link with Jason and whoever else wants it, and so it'll be easier if you want to check it out sometime.
Yeah.
Just put me on your Gmail list, and I'm on.
Okay, we'll do. I got the email here. So But I have a question. What do you use this green screen for? Because like you're certainly prepared for doing something.
I put down there well, I just recently campaigned to become a national council member for the Veterans Reform Board, so I had a green screen on over the top of it, integrity, this and that, and all this bullshit.
So you had production value.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then I got a flag or eagles and stuff. I do all that kind of stuff.
And before, he was state commander up until June of the VFW here, so he had a lot of Zoom meetings because you can't meet in person.
No kidding.
So that's why the green screen.
That's why I put the green screen with the VFW. If I take the green screen down, you see my little coins and stuff that I have over there. Some of my
usually it's
some of my
closer,
stuff.
so you don't see any of the bedroom. But
Gotcha. Wow.
Sometimes Val needs their bras laying around. I don't like that in a big meeting. I mean, everybody says, "Oh, you lucky devil." I hate that when I start talking. I look around. Oh, well, no wonder I'm lucky.
He doesn't want him to know it's really his bras.
Yeah, my bra. I have to explain. No, that's not Val. It isn't my bro. That's my bro hanging off over there.
Right on. Well, awesome, man. This is great catching up with you guys, man. It's great seeing you. Like, it's so funny because it's weird when you'll see my parents if you come check out one of these shows. My parents are on also every one. They actually retired and live in Ukiah. So
do they? Well, see, they tried to get out of California.
It's not that they didn't want to so much leave California, but they wanted definitely to be out of the Bay Area.
Oh yeah.
So that was the Bay Area more than anything else, and Ukiah. I mean, Ukiah is a town that's kind of like a Oregonian town in California.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, but they got a nice place there that they've been at since 2017, and so and I just actually came back from there about a week ago.
So what do? They just relaxing, enjoying themselves?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they retired. They've had like the strangest retirement because they actually got their retirement got bought out like in 99 2000, and my stepdad ended up going into business for himself as an independent consultant somewhere around I want to say like. It's hard to say when. I want to say like around 2000 and he was working as an independent contractor for a company, and they weren't really treating him very well. And then him and my mom ended up revamping shit like somewhere where he was just basically his own company doing independent contracting, and they started doing that around 2004, I think, or 5 maybe, or there was somewhere because there were some other issues that came up with our family, and then. But everything worked out, and they ended up doing pretty good with that consulting while also being retired. My mom got bought out of her retirement way early on. She ended up like doing some like odd jobs here and there just for kicks because they couldn't get their retirement right away, obviously, or whatever. But they so she was like working at a tea room and other stuff. But then she's pretty much the other half of the company that my stepdad has because she runs the books, and she always acts like she says she doesn't have a job, and I'm like, well, shit, if it wasn't for you, then my stepdad wouldn't have this company.
That's right.
And so they've been doing that, but they slowed down on that after they moved, and he just picks up jobs when they hit him up, and they've got it dialed in to where, like I was talking to him about it, where based on what they get from Social Security or whatever they're only allowed a certain amount of money to make per year. Before it messes with that, so they like it's like if he takes a job, he doesn't want to make too much on it or whatever.
Right.
So but yeah, they're doing good. They're very very much happy and healthy and all that, and being all conscious of the Corona stuff. Do you have much of the Corona stuff up there?
Absolutely guaranteed. We just had a little scare in our post. That's what they call our meeting place. We have our own post home. It's an old one, but it's we don't owe any money. But yeah, we have to worry. We just had a scare. The new post commander's wife is a caregiver kind of person. I don't know where she works, but they take care of the ill, and the person that works with her ended up with COVID-19. So, and then she ended up with the temperature, so she was in emergency, and she was just in our post where we had some people. We try to keep the crowd small, and you should wear your mask.
Yep, wear the masks. I just got mine. Jason will be stoked on these. I just got 2 new masks from one of his favorite bands, the Swans. It's
he's happy now.
Yeah, it looks like I got teeth, and the other one's got a message that's a little more. It's not family friendly, but it says, "You fucking people make me sick." So that's definitely one I'm not wearing to the grocery outlet. But
well, I'm not so sure that would be the good one to go to the grocery outlet.
Oh yeah. No, I just went shopping right now just to go. It's weird when I get these new masks and I'm like, all right, now I want to go do things I'm not supposed to do or try to limit. I want to go out in my mask. So, yeah.
Funny talk about that. I just got some free masks from Humana. They're this lime green looking thing. Yeah. It looks. I put them on your face. Look like you're wearing panties on your face. I'm wearing my panties today.
That's what they all. I just washed them when I washed them I washed them with the laundry. That's exactly what it looked. I'm like, oh my goodness, these dudes. They look like you got G-string. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm wearing panties today.
While I was there, I shot a video for one of the tracks off my album.
Nice, cool.
That was kind of cool. It's it's pretty simple, but it's up on YouTube now. So
cool. I look forward to checking it out.
Yeah, take a look.
We'll show the link. We'll put the link in the thing for the video for this for the meantime.
It's I tweeted it out, so it's on Twitter.
Cool. Because you went to Redmond, Oregon. How was flying in the age of COVID, buddy?
Oh, flying was actually it was nice. It was cool because at SFO there was nobody there. On the plane on the way there were maybe 15 people. On the way back there were 7 people.
Holy shit.
So it was just empty airplanes, empty airports. It was very comfortable.
Wow, man, that's cool. Yeah, I should do some traveling. Just say fuck it.
Time because the tickets are super cheap too.
Yeah, I got a bus. I got on buses are free right now. So I rode bus, rode BART a few times here when I met up with you to exchange records, on there. That time though, I saw there were people smoking meth on the train, but I didn't want to be rude and change trains. I was like, all right, guys, I'm not looking to be. I'm going to be right. I just stayed right over there. No one called anybody. Probably should have. I was more upset that they weren't wearing masks than the fact that they were smoking meth. But hey,
yeah,
sure, the meth keeps the corona out. Who knows?
Sure. Yeah, meth's a cure-all. It takes care of everything. You won't die of anything except for smoking too much meth.
I'm just glad I never really did it much. I was more of a cocaine and white tequila guy when I got colds. That's how I'd sweat it out. So it usually works. And then being sober, I learned it's masturbation and a hot bath. That'll do it.
Huh.
So, both sweat it out. Just gotta sweat it out. So.
Now I want to tell you about Social Security. You talk about how much you can make and all this good stuff. So I'm getting ready. I'm old enough to file for it. I'm 70 now. So I did it when I was 63 or 2. What the hell?
62.
62. Anyway, I put in there for my Social Security, and I was surprised. The next day, up here, I filed it online, and the next day I get a phone call.
Whoa!
From Social Security.
We
got your paperwork and this lady is so apologetic, like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I feel so bad for you. I'm thinking, well, what happened? Well, Mr. Wrinkles, you're going to get $175 a month of Social Security. I just started cracking up and said, hallelujah, I got Social Security coming in. Because I never worked much in Social Security money, guys. I had my own retirement, so I was good. I think, thank God I didn't have to rely on it. But this poor lady, I felt so bad for her. She was so she thought, oh no, there's someone's got to live on $175 the rest of his life. Bullshit.
Yeah, man.
No way. If I only got $175 a month, I'd just go kill myself. There's no way you could eat anyway. You
Well,
know,
I mean,
I had to laugh. That's my. So now I make about 100. And what is it? 190. 70.
I don't remember, but you only get like 76 of it because he has Medicare.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
That's all I really wanted was to make sure that I was Medicare eligible.
Yeah, exactly.
So I went back to work for 2 hours.
So thank goodness for the city of Newark retirement.
Yeah. So I come back here. I find a part-time job because I'm thinking, well, I need 4 quarters, 2 years. I need 2 years. Oh, I needed 8 quarters. 22. That's right. Okay, so here we go. As you can see, I'm really strong in math. Anyhow, so I'm going to do my 8 quarters. I go in, and I'll be damned if I didn't find a job at Home Depot. I always said, oh, when I get retired, I'm working at Home Depot. I'll be a son of a bitch. Now, do they put me into landscaping where I know all my stuff that I've done for 30 years? No.
Not at all, no.
You're going to be, you're going to do doors and windows and stuff. What the hell do I know about doors and windows?
Well, you're talking about corporate home repair. I mean, that's corporate for you, you know?
So they made a tactical error with me. They walked up and said, here's your 4-year patch. You've been here 4 years. I said, how long have I been here? 4 years. I'm like, bye, I'm gone. I quit.
You didn't even know you were there for 4 years?
I've been there too. How this happened?
Oh, shit. Oh, man.
Stupid, huh?
No.
So what happens? You get up in the morning, you do a routine, you come back.
Believe me, I just realized I was looking at a gig that I saw was 5 years ago. I saw a flyer on Facebook that was like, 5 years ago, you did this gig, and it still feels like I only did it 2 or 3 years ago. I didn't know it was 5. And I mean, just sort of how the time definitely flies. I mean, it's weird that, like, I mean, it's already July of this year, even though this year's been kind of, obviously wonky, but just realizing, like, it was only a year ago that I mean, again, I don't know. One of the things that Facebook doesn't help me was just how fast time does fly.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, awesome, Jason. I was thinking, I'm pretty sure you'd be game for it, but what do you think if I put together, in the meantime, Old Friends edition? And do you think what we got together, the Friday night session, you think all those knuckleheads will be willing to record a hangout session for a meantime?
I'd be surprised if they didn't.
Okay. I think, yeah, we'll see. I've been.
Well, I don't know. Daryl might balk.
People are weird. Daryl's weird with his job and all. Like as if anybody from is combing YouTube.
Well, if they can, I think he can probably get away with.
You'd be surprised. I mean, I'm sure he has a way to spin that shit in his favor. Like, I just knowing that dude, he's just got a way for it. So he's going to be seeing this too because he wants to see the parents interview. So I still say I'm so mad at myself when I was having a really good set when he was there. Him and my girlfriend from high school, Nicole Izant, were both at a Punchline show that we did with the guy Mike Bucci from Newark when he was doing
the one. Yeah, the one that I missed due to crushing depression. Yeah,
that's right. You were depressed, and it tried. I don't know. This might not have helped, but I was so mad because I got to be able to joke about when Nicole first saw me in 2017. We crossed paths at Whole Foods, and I said, and I saw her, and I was like, oh, that's Nicole Izant. And I went up to her after we were like in parallel lines in the checkout, and I went up to her. I'm like, are you Nicole Izant? And she goes, I thought that was you, Daryl, right? I'm like, no, Dave. And so I got to bring that up. I said, yeah. So I said, this is how, because it was mostly Newark that was making up the audience. And I said, Newark's a small town, even in this little audience, because one of my girlfriends from high school is here, and I ran into her. I hadn't seen her in a while. I ran into her in 2017, and when she first saw me, she said the name of one of my best friends in school. And that best friend is sitting right over there. So I pointed to him and I said, and he was a straight C&D student, and I was a straight A student, and he's now manages at and I was selling fried chicken and waffles at What the Cluck, and I wished I would have said because it was not long after that happened. And here's how I know it would have killed, because I told that to Daryl right after the show, and Daryl let out a big fucking, the Daryl laugh. And it was the need, and that was those, and it's really funny because I got to say, like, the thing about, doing all this stupid comedy bullshit, I still get more of a kick when any of you guys, I hear a laugh out loud from you guys, from any of my friends from my music days, from my family. Like when my stepdad laughs out loud, it takes me back to being a kid and it also just reminds me just how stupid I really was. And like, I did not know what to do with my fucking life. And we watched stand-up comedy, religiously growing up. And it just never seemed like, because also I knew it was a depressing world. I'm just like, it's a, today I'm grateful for it because I get to watch so many depressed comedians now because they can't do it. I fucking love that. But it is just one of those things that even still just takes me back to, if you're laughing, if Mike's laughing, if Daryl, Nate. I don't think I've ever heard Nate laugh yet. Nate hasn't seen the show either. So, but I mean, I've seen him smile, maybe chuckle to himself. He's one I haven't. I don't know what an out loud. I might have heard him laugh out loud, but I know Victor I've heard laugh out loud, which is rare too. So,
well, you look like you're doing well. I'm happy for you.
I definitely. It's funny that you mentioned the just dealing with social services and stuff, because I'm doing well considering that I live like the way that I'm an independent worker. I've been independently doing comedy, self-employed, and but in the process of doing that, I've basically learned how to live live comfortably below the poverty line, and so I have like, I can pay my rent, I can I can save some money, and I'm eligible for food stamps. So it's
wrong with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong at all. And it's so I kind of do mind, keep in mind like how much I get per year. I pay my taxes and all that stuff, and I actually have to pay them, but it's not much because I don't make that much.
Right.
And so it's one of those things where I never would have done this though. I mean, I don't know if Jason told you, I've been in like 12-step recovery. I got into recovery about almost 7 years ago, and just got a lot of my life in order that way. I was working at a couple regular jobs for about 3 years. And then when the last job I had went out of business, I'd been making about a third of my income from comedy. And then I was kind of doing my finances, and I was like, oh, I think I can pay my rent at least the next couple of months, just, with my gigs until I find my next, part-time or full-time job. And then the months, my gigs were just kept piling up, and I was able to make rent. And then like a few months into it, that's when I looked into EBT, because where I do recovery, they have pamphlets for that. And thank goodness they put them in the bathroom too, because it was bathroom reading basically.
Yeah.
And, so I was. That's
where
where
they gonna find you. They got to put it where they're gonna find you. Everybody's got to find a toilet sometime.
I'm glad that I do get curious, and so I did that, and then it's been like that since 2017, and even when the pandemic hit, I was like, well, I'll live off my savings. I'll figure, I'll be all right. And I looked into maybe having to do jobs or whatever. But we started doing online shows, and then there's been some other stuff. I do some side hustle work for a friend of mine. She has me do editing for her, and so it's I've been okay, and so I've been like I said, and then I've also had the time to bullshit with Jason a lot. So, and Jason, how are you doing? I know you've been quietly just kind of perched back there, but how's the trip been?
Oh, it's been nice. It's good for there. It's nice and quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Get to listen to my dad talk all day.
When I'm here, I haven't been home much.
He's been really super busy, so he hasn't been around much. But yeah, it's been really nice.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. So.
Well, I have to say, no matter where you end and whatever you end up doing, just remember, you could look like this.
You got a good head, John.
I'm jealous.
That's a good head.
You got hair, buddy.
That's a good head, though. I mean, you look good with I'm telling you, you got a Ned Asner head.
Oh,
Ed Asner's got a good head. That's a good head right there.
I'm just telling you, could end up without hair on that.
Believe me, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world because it clogs drains and all that stuff. It's thinning here and there. So,
The bad part is when I was a kid, I used to watch my dad. My dad was always a slim guy.
Yeah.
I'm a small, slim guy.
Mm-hmm.
Never was heavy. Never in his
Now
whole
you're
life.
real wiry.
And in the summertime, my dad never wore a shirt when he was, unless he had to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
He was shirtless all the time. And I used to watch him when he walked by, and he had that hair grown out of his back about 25 inches long. I used to think, God, guess what happens?
Oh, yeah.
It all slides down.
It just
Now I've got
migrates.
gorilla hair on my back. I'm a silverback.
It migrates, yes.
I'm a
I got
silverback. I made it.
I wish, when I was a child, I wanted to be a werewolf. Little did I know I'd become one. So
We made it.
yeah, we did.
Oh, that's it. Oh, so good to see you.
Great seeing you too, John, Valerie, and the dog. I saw Jason sent me a picture of your dog. I love the hair. What's his name? Smudge. Smudge.
Smudge, yeah.
Yeah, Smudge.
Her name is Smudge Spot, but we call her Smudge.
I saw the
grudge.
The dog was sitting on Jason, and he was saying that the dog didn't like him, but I saw the dog sitting on Jason back there. So
yeah, she likes him.
It's taken a long time, but she actually played with me yesterday.
Yeah.
look at that. See, I like a dog with attitude. Yeah, so looks like you got it.
He never liked dogs. I was so surprised. See?
Who me?
Jason,
he
he's a
never
dog
liked
lover
dogs.
now. He wasn't when he was
Oh
younger.
yeah, he's got
700 ridiculously evil, insane dogs.
They were never evil.
They were specific dogs. He's got, it's just like people, you gotta find your dogs. So
He's got his. He's got Jack. Now he's getting paid back.
Jack is our grand dog.
Yeah, we got a grand dog.
Right on. Well, you guys have a wonderful day.
You too.
And awesome talking to you. Thank you so much. And when this is all edited up, I'll have Jason shoot you the link to it so you can check it out.
All right, thank you.
I want you to put me on your comedy list or your Zoom.
You got it.
We'll watch.
You'll be on it. You'll
As
be
long
on
as
it.
I'm home, even though I'm not, if I got I can watch it on my phone too,
Got it.
Got it. I am capable.
And you're savvy too with the green screen and everything. So
I don't like to pack the green screen, but I can.
It's awesome talking to you guys.
Yeah.
You guys
All right,
have
we'll see you later, buddy.
Great day. Take care, Jason. I'll talk to you soon. And
Come up and visit sometime, Dave.
Yeah, you're welcome
I will
to
do
come
my
visit.
best. Yes, definitely. When we can travel again and everything's like all kosher and all that, you'll count on me. I'll check out Redmond.
All
I'd
right.
love to see you.
They got comedy in Ben. They got comedy in Ben.
Yeah, that's right. No, they do. They do.
I know they do.
I love playing and wherever I can get to. So yeah.
We're going to spread you around, brother.
Yeah,
Bye.
yeah. Well, take care. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Bye-bye.
So, all right, sir. Thank you for chatting, and I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you probably on Sunday with our show as usual.
I will be there.
Right on, man. You have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Right on, man.
Down here.
Yeah, we record
Look here. Go to video settings. And where in the hell is it down there? What is the matter with us?
I don't know. It's got a nice little, flicker flare to it. I know that it's you got a Veterans of Foreign Wars thing, but it looks like you're. This kind of resembles some kind of like wrestling organization.
I've been dying to wrestle with somebody in Crisco Oil, but nobody will take me out. Chicken chips, that's what I say. I gotta somehow get rid of my green screen.
I imagine if you go to the video,
where do you see it? I don't see it.
you click on the arrow by your video.
Go to. No, I don't want to. I have a green screen in my video.
That's even better.
I love it. You like this?
This is because we want to be incognito.
What the hell did I do?
There you go.
There, I got rid of it, I think. You like the other one better?
They both were awesome.
I kind of thought it was good too. I want to get rid of. I can't. It won't let me exit, boys and girls.
Well, it's good to see you. Oh my goodness. Right on. Long time no see.
Oh boy. Let's see what we got. Bills, union letter, bills, don't know what that is, bill, well that's fucking great.